Hello everyone, welcome to Maths Bridge. We train and learn. We shall continue our C programming concepts. Let's get started. Thank you all for joining with us. Our goal is to share the knowledge from our continuous learning. It would be one of the great places to recap things that you know, explore new tech topics to build our competency. Visit our channel for more learning sessions at your mouse click. Please feel free to subscribe our channel and then stay tuned to upcoming sessions. Thank you all again to support us in accomplishing our goal to build a great competitive tech community. Today our learning goal would be understanding basic structure of a C programming like a document section, preprocessor directive section, define section, global variable declaration section, function prototype section, main functions, subfunctions. Let's see demo. Let me walk through with you the basic structure that we maintain in writing a C program. For every source file should have these sections. Some of the sections are kind of like an optional, but you can reserve them a space for it, as like a placeholder. Typically, in every source program, we should have a document section where we need to capture the history of the file, copyright information, revisions, author name, date, file version, things like that can be captured for the future reference, right? This document section is enclosed with a commented line section, right? These statements are not any executable statements. From the document purpose, we are capturing all the notes in it. The next section would be as include section, which is also known as a preprocessor directive section. Basically, within your program, you might need to have certain predefined functions to be used, like a printf statement, scanf, things like that, right? For which you need to include those files within this source file. That's why this section is meant for preprocessor directive section. During the compilation time, preprocessor takes care of replacing them as per the dependency. And the next section would be as defined section. Is also known as a predefined values that you can maintain at one place. Within your program, let's say you wanted to use pi value for calculating area of the circle or calculating the interest from the loan that you borrowed. Certain things like, right, you can have them as a predefined values within your program rather than you keep hard coding them across the program. So this is what we call it as a define section. Next section would be a global declaration section. We all know that, right? The variables are different types in C programming. Local variables, global variables, things like that. Let's stick to our topic, global variables. Global variables means the scope of the variable within the file, means within the file across anywhere else you can access these variables. This is what a global variable means. The visibility of the variable is limited to this particular source file, entire source file. Next section would be the prototype declaration section, which is above the main function. What this means is that we need to inform to the compiler about the function declarations that we use in this program. Compiler is cross verify prototype declaration with the function that we use as a definition section. Now coming to the main. Main is a main entry method within the C programming, right? This is the first method to be executed. Without main, you can't compile the source code. Point to be noted. Okay. Now look at my fun example. Assuming that I need to visit three places like a farmer marketplace, shopping mall, and a bank. This I created as a subsections like a sub functions. Function 1, function 2, and function 3. Isn't it? Every time I am visiting a function, I need to count my visit counts. I have a global variable for doing that. So g underscore visiting count that we declared in the global section. You agree? Let me see where it is. Here it is. Isn't it? Now every time I'm visiting a subfunction, I'm incrementing the value of the global variable. That way I would be knowing how many functions that I visited, how many times I visited probably. For now, I'm only tracking the count with which I can say that these many times I visited. Isn't it? Right? The intent of global function is to keep track of certain things globally within the file. Okay. If you declare a variable within a function, the scope of the variable limited to that function. That is what we can call it as a local variable to that function. I didn't declare any variable at this minute, but that's a concept that you can think through. Differentiate between the local variable and a global variable. Let me compile this program first. Okay, let me run it. Nice. You could see now from the main at line number 29, I have a printf statement, right? Hello world. So it redirects the text message called as hello world onto console. That's what you are seeing. And then line number 30, you have a printf statement to print the initial global variable value, which is 0. Point to be noted here, you have not initialized the global variable. You see? However, it prints value 0. Means by default, global variables getting initialized to 0. But good practice, always you have to initialize the variables. Next one, within the main, I'm keep calling 3 subfunctions. First, I would be calling farmer market. Next, I would be calling shopping mall. Next, I would be calling bank. Assuming that you are visiting one by one. First, you are visiting farmer market, next shopping mall, next bank, things like that. Every time you visit a subfunction, you are incrementing the global variable. So you would expect to see 3 visits in line number 34. Agree? Because we have 3 subfunctions. So and hence the output would be 3. G underscore visiting count is 3. So you have 3 visiting places and hence your count is also become 3. You agree? Good. Now important point to be noted. What would happen if I can comment these prototype declarations? Let me comment using ID feature. Comment. Now let me compile. Great. See, all are errors. You know why? Because compiler is not able to recognize what these are all. Isn't it? So the fix would be just declaring the prototypes by uncommenting these lines for our case. Let me uncomment. Good. Save the changes and compile it and run it. Great. So the takeaways: complete our C programming structure can be divided into subsections like a document section, preprocessor directive section, define section, global declaration section, protective declaration section, and then main function and all sub functions definitions, right? And then local variable, if at all you are going to declare, the scope of the variable is limited to that particular function. You can't access that variable from outside of that function. Whereas a global variable scope is limited to entire source file. So meaning the visibility of that variable is to that file. Across the file, anywhere else you can access that variable. That is the reason you would be able to increment the value in subfunctions, right? I have not declared a variable inside the function, but I could access that variable and then also updating the value to that variable within the function. That is allowed, right? Because that is what global variable meaning. This is how the basic structure that we use to maintain in C programming. I hope you are clear. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, click on the bell icon, and please leave the comment. Happy learning. Thank you. Stay tuned to the upcoming sessions.